me just talk to Robert Jenrick, Shadow Justice Secretary, about this. I think it's a barkingly mad idea of David Lammy, who has finally revealed that half of all jury trials will be scrapped. His way of dealing with a backlog of 80,000 is to say, let's get judges to do it, removing in an instant the fabric, one of the most important fabrics of our democracy. Chris Daw is a KC and a leading barrister and author of Justice on Trial. Chris, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I was thinking if you were called Chris Law, that would have been even funnier than Chris Daw.
It would have been great. I just wish that my dad had thought that through more carefully before being called Daw. You're absolutely right. It could have been a big branding thing for me.
Imagine Chris Law practices law. It's better than Chris Daw practices law. You know,
yeah, you're forgetting something, Jeremy.
What?
Yeah, but you're forgetting it. It's Daw's Law.
Very good. We're slightly distracted, probably because we're both deranged. My friend.
Yeah, well, it's Alarm Clock Britain, Jeremy, and I got up. My alarm was set just for you.
Very good, very kind of you. David Lammy, we played this clip yesterday. In 2020, he said that the fabric of juries, 12 peers, safety net, all that we know in lawmaking was essential. Now he's become the Justice Secretary. This is his answer. I think this is disgusting, don't you?
Well, obviously, and it's really quite interesting, isn't it? Because the government... were you going to play the clip? I'm so sorry.
No, I'm not going to play the clip. I wouldn't give him any more airtime. He does me head in.
Well, it's actually quite amusing because he says very clearly back in the clip, from 5 years or so ago, that, jury trial is central to our culture. It's the bastion against state oppression and ensuring that ordinary citizens can make decisions about the most important things in other citizens' lives. And now, apparently, you just get rid of it overnight. I have to say, there is one thing really important, isn't there, Jeremy, which is that both Lammy and Starmer have united this country, have they not, over this issue? They've united all of us. It doesn't matter which party we vote for or belong to. I'm sort of walking the streets, speaking to colleagues, speaking to members of my family. I've not found a single person that thinks scrapping jury trials is a good idea. It's almost along the lines, let's think of some other things. Banning puppies, there would be another one. Let's get rid of all puppies in this country. Puppies, kittens, juries. In fact, why don't they charge for air? Because that would be just as popular as scrapping jury trials. It's utterly insane. Anyone who knows anything about history in this country, which Lammy used to do because he used to talk about it, but anyone that knows anything about it knows that jury trial goes back in one way, shape or form for around 1,000 years. Yeah. And it's been part of our culture, our national psyche. We all know that even if we are accused, and yesterday Lammy was talking about if you steal an iPhone in Curry's tomorrow, why should you have a jury trial? If you forgot something, what about if you didn't steal it and they just accused you of stealing it and you're innocent? So, whoa, there we go. There's the answer, David.
And I think, no, I completely agree. I think actually added into that, pal, is that the judges do not have really much. I don't think there's much credence given to judges right now in the United Kingdom amongst the silent majority, because a lot of people see these barking decisions that are made, and you're allowing one person, male or female, to make a decision. The peers thing is absolutely right. You just made the best point of the whole morning. A jury might find you not guilty when you are not guilty, and a judge might go, I just want to get through these cases. I think it's outrageous. Right. I made the point just then to Robert. I wonder what you think of this. We were creating, Nightingale hospitals. Why can't we create Nightingale courts and get this done, man? We're supposed to be a leading country.
You're absolutely right, and truth be told, let's just think about it. Ordinary people, I think, realise that when push comes to shove, and if you're the one, or your son or your daughter gets accused of something, whether they've done it or not, frankly, but if they're accused of something, the one thing that you want for them is a fair trial between 12 ordinary people. And I've done hundreds of jury trials. I look at the composition of juries up and down the country, and you compare it to the composition of judges. So if you go into a Crown courtroom, as I've done in London or Manchester or Birmingham or wherever, what you see is the whole of Britain represented. On the jury, you see old, young, you see black, white, you see, wealthy and not so wealthy.
Absolutely,
you see everybody.
Right.
They all come together and they all have to sit respectfully in a room, and however long it takes, and eventually they have to come out with a verdict, which for me represents in many ways a far better pooling of our kind of national resource than a general election, because general elections, not everybody votes. There's a, like lots of people don't, and the system works in such a way that you can have a massive majority like Labour have, even though they really were not popular. It was just a protest vote against the previous government. So you can end up with all these irregularities and absurd kind of end results from democracy in our system. But the jury system is the one thing we have. It goes back all that time, where literally anyone on the electoral roll, which means the same group of people who vote, any single single person on that electoral roll can be randomly selected by the ballot, and their name comes up, and they have to go. You have to go, because it's so important to make sure people understand that this is a public duty. It's not just a bolt-on, and every single judge at the end of every single trial turns to that jury, and many of them have been doing it very, very clearly in the last few days since this was announced, and says to the jury, we could not operate our system of justice without ordinary people leaving their walk of life for a week or two.
I couldn't agree more. Daw's Law is going to become a regular feature. We love having you on. Don't change your name to Law, because Law's Law doesn't work. Chris Daw, thank you very much. Daw KC, talking about how mad